In a dramatic turn of events, the People's Democratic Party's highly anticipated national elective convention scheduled for November 15 and 16 in Ibadan has been thrown into disarray. One federal high court in Abuja issued a final order halting the convention, finding that former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido was unjustly denied the opportunity to purchase a nomination form for the chairmanship race, thereby instructing the party and Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) not to proceed without him. Simultaneously, however, the Oyo State High Court in Ibadan adjourned its ruling on the jurisdiction challenge and reaffirmed the interim order that the party may continue preparation for the convention. Adding to this complexity, supporters of Sheyi Makinde, governor of Oyo State, have deployed large banners at the convention venue proclaiming his 2027 presidential ambitions, signaling internal power displays, even as the party's national leadership is in flux. Amid the conflicting court orders, the administrator of the National Judicial Institute, NJI, Babatunde Adejumo, has defended the judiciary, stating that divergent rulings from courts of coordinate jurisdiction are not signs of failure, but part of system normal evolution. The unfolding scenario leaves the PDP at a crossroad, grappling with legal entanglement, factional ambition, and the daunting task of presenting a united front. And of course, I will still have in the studio to make sense out of this whole conversation and to dissect them precept upon precept. We have Dr. Peter Anosike in the studio, and of course, I will also have Barrister Luce, who's also here to do justice to this conversation. And joining us virtually, we have Honorable Felix Pascal. But let me start with Dr. Peter, because he is my PDP prophet. Ever since we've been doing morning bus together, we've been talking about PDP in and out of PDP's conversation, and just like I mentioned to Dr. Anosike this morning, whenever I hear PDP's conversation, I'll just remember your explanation or the example you gave to me some time ago. Dr. Anosike said PDP situation is like a car that the engine is knocked. Not only that, but a car that can never be revived again. And this particular conversation, disturbs me a lot, because I feel these are elder statesmen. These are men that have been in the corridors of power. What is that thing that is that difficult that they cannot share their swords and come, together to build, a very strong opposition party, instead of everyone, going loggerheads, with each other. But, Doctor, what are the implications, of the conflicting court orders on this PDP convention, and which court ruling takes precedence?
Well, for me, before I walked into the studio, I called somebody in Ibadan, and he told me that they are trooping to the venue that is holding. Understand? And I know that it will hold, but it's a mere jamboree.
It's not a party.
Yes, it is a mere jamboree. And again, we also have a kind of a pariah and security agency. My thinking was that Ogotoku will instruct the CP of Oyo Police that his men should stay away from this convention. But Oyo State Police are providing security for the convention, which to me is strange. Which to me is very, very strange, because but like I told you before, INEC could not participate, and once INEC did not cover the convention, it is just an exercise in futility. You understand? Which means Wike's own faction is still holding the winning card. Because there's no way INEC will recognize this convention, and even if they present a presidential candidate next year, INEC could not recognize it. But what is happening has been ordained already.
Okay.
Understand? What is happening has been ordained already. It will continue to happen until after the 2027 election is over.
Okay, I remember in your comments the last time we were here together, you said the Wike faction is the mold that is planted in PDP, that they will not leave or release the grip of how they hold PDP, the same way Abure is actually holding Labour Party.
Yeah.
But of course, let me come to Barrister Ezeluche. But Barrister, can the PDP proceed with this? Of course, they've already done that by proceeding, with the convention. But I would like to know, despite Abuja court order, and you being a legal practitioner, you would have to explain to us, how can a court in Abuja says no, another high court in one state saying yes, go ahead, another court is also saying this one has to be halted? Barrister, is the judicial still in sync in Nigeria?
Well, yes, they are in sync.
So what is the consequence of this particular situation?
The reality is this: all this is orchestrated. They are orchestrated right from the very top. I will assure you one thing: if the different courts were giving orders, conflicting orders related to the APC, immediately the Chief Justice, the National Judicial Council, will step in and wield the iron stick. Are you with me?
Yeah.
They will not allow it to waste one extra day. So all this is orchestrated and from the very top. And those who are thinking that the Seyi Makinde is a different faction from Wike don't understand the politics these guys are playing. They are playing with our minds. During the last elections, there were a couple of governors who moved along with Wike. One was the governor of Abia State, the governor of Enugu State, the governor of Benue State, and Seyi Makinde. So the whole scam they are playing is from themselves. Nigerians should live above these scams. Let me tell you what will happen. Seyi Makinde will emerge himself as governor of candidate under the PDP. Of course, it's a waste of time because he knows that at the end of the day he will dobale for the president. So it's just a scam that are leading Nigerians through. That's why I don't believe we should be discussing these PDP issues anywhere, because they are playing with our minds. And even those who are members, the founders of PDP realize this, and they virtually said, okay, this government is doing this because they have limitless funds. They can throw these monies around, get court orders, bring people to attend rallies in the name of a convention when they know it's all a jamboree. So
Barrister, sorry to butt in here. Yes. So the concern for me would be the part where there is conflicting judgment from two major, courts.
Yes.
And again, question now would be, should Nigerians consistently believe in the judiciary as it stands? That's on one part. There is also the part of the Sule Lamido who has said, look, as it stands, I went to the court to reclaim my rights and not to fight the PDP. Is he even, I don't want to say if he's right to want to fight for that right of his. What's your position with these two stories?
Well, the reality is this. If you don't believe in the judiciary, what do? When you have a friction with somebody, do you carry a knife and go and stab him? So there must still be that belief in the judiciary for most things. But in the political arena, like I told you, even the so-called man who instead went to buy a form and was denied. How many people have tried to buy forms in APC and were denied? And they go to court and the cases don't even get listed.
Some even bought the form, they took it from them.
Yes, the cases don't ever get listed. So don't think that there is a confusion in the judiciary. It is orchestrated. Because otherwise, right from the day the judgments are made, the CJN knows what to do. And if it's realized that there is dubious transactions going on, the CJN knows what to do. It doesn't have to wait for 1 week or till the end of the date for the convention to make pronouncement. And I wouldn't be surprised if another court today, a Saturday, gives an order that it should go on. And still the CJN, the Judicial Commission, will keep quiet. So we have gone beyond being fooled by the antics of these characters. It is all well orchestrated, and it's to create confusion within the ruling party. Like I think, ask yourself, like I said earlier, if it was the APC, will this last for one day? It will not, because it does not fall within the system. You won't even have, when you go to file a similar application under the APC, you will not be listed till after the convention has taken place, because it's still the prerogative of the registry of the court to list your cases. But if you go today, Saturday, to file a case to further cause confusion in a ADC, in Labour, or in the PDP, Saturday you get a date on Monday. So Naija should believe in the judiciary. In good time, the judiciary will rescue itself from the machinations of these characters who are rubbishing it. Just like Nigerians, in good time, we need to rescue our country, because all these things is being manipulated.
Okay, thank you so much, Barrister Zeluche. You just made it clear now, okay, from your statement that the PDP is also indirectly working with the ruling party.
I didn't say that. I said the PDP has been so messed up that even the 2-3 factions are all sponsored by the ruling party. Makinde cannot tell me he's working against Wike. It's not possible.
Okay.
They are working in teams,
okay,
but they'll come out and quarrel.
Barrister, that is safe to say that indirectly what I said is what you're still saying.
Well,
but I'd like to go to Honorable Felix Pascal, who is in Taraba presently. Hello, Honorable, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, my brother.
Okay, so Honorable, you heard what Barrister Zeluche said. I didn't say it, he said it. But let's talk about party leadership and unity. Okay, how will the convention outcome affect the party's leadership and direction? Okay, and of course, I would like to take this simultaneously. Can the PDP reconcile its warring faction and present a united front ahead of 2027 general elections?
All right, thank you very much. Let me say what Barrister is shying away from saying. that it is well planned, as Barrister has opined.
Yes.
It is highly orchestrated.
Yes.
And they are after the script of Mr. President.
Simple.
That's all. He just wants to have a soft landing against 2027. He doesn't want PDP to feel a candidate. It's all well planned. All the people going to one court or another, they are all their boys. They are sending this one today. They will send that one tomorrow to go to that court and collect this order. They will speak with this judge to deliver that order. They are just acting a script. And unfortunately, Nigerians are not aware of this. The same Makinde that joined Wike, you know, and they formed G5 against another candidate and said it's the turn of the South. And they will support a Tinubu ticket, even while remaining in PDP. So has he suddenly now realized that Tinubu is incompetent and can no longer deliver and take Nigeria to where Nigeria wants? So you will find out that all they are trying to do is to block the spots. And eventually, after this convention, is either they come out to say, okay, the convention was fine, let them go on, and Makinde becomes the candidate, and then they get to have a soft landing, thereby blocking any northerner from picking up the ticket. Because for Wike, he feels that if he allows them in PDP just like that, they can maneuver their way and find a northerner may come eventually to have the ticket of the party. Because he is already working for Mr. President, even while remaining in PDP. So they are just acting their scripts. Yes. The only sad reality is that you and I, the ordinary Nigerians, are just the victims. But when we look at this thing side by side, our politics, it is not good for our democracy. We cannot allow this country to slump into a one-party state. We need an opposition. They have crumbled all. Tinubu is determined to just crumble any opposition in this country. Look at what is happening in Labour Party. Look at ADC. The moment El-Rufai went to SDP now, the secretary of SDP and the chairman of SDP and each other's throat. Who will sign the documents they will take to INEC eventually? So any party they just hear strong person is going there and making waves, they just send their disciples there and they scatter everywhere. And we cannot continue like that, because the moment we slump into a one-party state, it's just like a dictatorship. So it is better he removes the agbada and just wears a khaki, you know, and then we are under military dictatorship in the country. So it is unhealthy for our democracy. I don't know why most of this, and it's sad that today most of our election issues have to be determined by the courts as against the people determining who they want and how they want to run their affairs. Imagine a party now like PDP. They have their constitution, they have their guidelines and whatsoever, but most decisions about how PDP will exist, the well-being of PDP, how they will bring out candidates and all whatnot has to be determined by a court, not by the members of the party. Because some people just want to play the card of a person. So it is a time Nigerians have to wake up. We have to look into the eyes of Wike. Nigeria is bigger than you.
Okay.
Nigeria is bigger.
Okay, so honorable.
This is our country. We cannot be playing politics with the life and well-being of the people of this country. They are only interested in themselves. They are not interested in what happens in this country. Look at how lives are being lost. And look at how the economy is and all whatnot. Their only interest is how do we manipulate this and manipulate that to remain in power.
Okay, honorable.
Nigerians must confront these people.
Honorable Pascal, thank you so much. I was waiting to get to that point, but of course, you had to mention his name, talking about the FCT minister. You would agree with me that it is said that Wike is not or has not indulged himself in anti-party yet to the PDP, even with everything that is going on. If Anyanwu can be suspended, okay, but that of Wike is untouchable, okay. And to buttress your point, you talked about when once the ruling party see that anybody wants to rise from wherever, either from the north or whatever, next thing they send their people to just look for how to actually cushion that effect to make sure that they neutralize, whatsoever party it is. Because just in agreement with your statement, for the very first time in a long while, I saw WJ and Yusuf yesterday. The predecessor and successor of Kano State. I was surprised, and they said that for unity. And the same Kwankwaso of Kano also mentioned that his door is open and Tinubu is his friend, that is willing to actually have dialogue. So how will this one party states affect the political landscape of Nigeria if successfully they get through it? And of course, is Wike bigger than PDP that cannot be sacked or sent off from their party?
And by extension, is Wike bigger than Nigeria and Nigerians? Because what he is doing in PDP is affecting Nigeria and Nigerians' status democratically. So it is a moment that Nigerians have to look beyond just PDP and confront these people on the basis that at the end of the day, it is our country that is put in bad light. Now they are busy jittering. The US have put us as country of concern. Who brought about this? It's just the lack of political will of some few individuals. Nigerians must rise up to take their country. We must confront these people and challenge them beyond. The challenge I'm having, where these people have just put us in this whole mess, is there is this increasing growth of the poverty of the mind that they keep structuring us on. Not just the physical poverty. An average person, educated person, some to the rank of a doctor, some professors, they are still held down by sentiments of religion, ethnicity, and region. It has to be our brother, it has to be our sister, it has to be from a tribe, it has to be from a religion. That is what is putting us in this maze up to tomorrow. The moment we realize this and unite ourselves that these guys don't have a religion. Tinubu is a Muslim. Wike is a Christian.
Let me just make it. Let me tell you something. You asked the question whether is Wike bigger than Nigeria. That is bigger than
the PDP.
The issue is not Wike. Wike is a nobody. The issue is Mr. President Bola Tinubu bigger than the PDP and bigger than Nigeria? Because everything Wike is doing in PDP is because the president allows him to do it. Have you watched Wike's convoy when he goes to his state? Soldiers, policemen, navy, everything.
He's a motorcade.
If he was
a
single individual, like who is he? So the issue is not Wike. Wike is just being used by the presidency, by the president, to achieve goals. And the day Mr. President feels he's done with Wike, like Amechi was discarded by Buhari and Peter Odili was also discarded, they will discard Wike. It's a matter of time. But there's nobody.
All right, then. Let me bring this conversation back to the studio here. And I'm going to come to Dr. Party ideologies is what I want to talk about. From your perspective, do you think political parties in Nigeria clearly have ideologies that they follow? Because this is a PDP that was just one of the greatest party in Africa in 1999, becoming something that is going extinct as we speak.
There's no ideology but selfish interest. There's no ideology in Nigerian politics but selfish interest. If there's ideology, you cannot be in APC in the morning, PDP in the afternoon, and ADC in the evening. So what is chasing them is their interest. And for Wike, Tinubu is too weak for what he is doing. He has security, he has money. Understand? He has security, he has money. So that's why he is behaving like Rambo on the news.
Should the PDP crumble, what would FCT Minister Nyesom Wike continue his political career path?
He is 75% in APC, 25% in PDP.
Do you think he's going to have that space in the APC?
One, he's the APC party leader in Rivers State. He's not contesting with anybody. He appointed the APC local government chairman in Rivers State.
All right, let me bring the same question to you, okay, party ideology.
Yes. Well, no party in Nigeria has any ideology because they were just set up by people who come together for power grabbing, including the Labour Party.
Including the Thank you so much, Doctor.
The only yes, the Labour Party is people came around the Labour Party because of the person of Peter Obi.
Yeah.
They saw in him as somebody who has the kind of qualities they want in a leader. So that's why people voted for Labour Party. Labour Party itself is it's structured in a way that's no ideology. So the day we decide to begin to build ideology-based parties, that's when we know we have begun a democracy. But can you really do a democracy where people are so hungry? You see, one of the drawbacks we have in this country is even this democracy issue. No country has developed using democracy. No country whatsoever. Not even the US. In the US, we say they have 250 something years of democracy. It's not true. The US, up till the 50s, women could not vote. So up to the turn of the century, women could not vote. Blacks did not even get ability to vote till the 50s. So the people who could vote in the first 200 years of US democracy was white, adult male tax landowners. So you take people who have a vested interest in the territory and make them the electorate. But in Nigeria, every Dick, Tom and Harry says he has a vote. Somebody who has not eaten for 3 days, if you give him 5,000 naira, he will sell his vote to you. So as long as we have this democracy that is foisted on us as the path towards democracy, it's not going to work. No country has developed using democracy. But when you now use other means to develop, and the people have been sensitized and developed, their minds have been developed, you can now say, okay, come and vote.
So, Barrister,
yes,
can you give us examples of other means, please?
Of other what?
Other means.
Other means, unfortunately, we missed it because when we had a military regime, most countries developed by autocratic regimes. Singapore, the Latin American Asian tigers,
Malaysia, China, all of them.
Yes, they develop using a strong will. Somebody wants to move the country forward, because if the person who wants to move the country forward is leading, if you are not willing to lead, you must follow along. But when you have these kakistocrats in place, you have these characters who just want to buy properties in America, in London, and everywhere, leading you. They can only lead you to an abyss. That's the unfortunate thing we have. So the way forward for Nigeria is, I don't know, we missed it, like I said, with the military. When Gowon, for instance, was president, when Nigeria was awash with cash, what did the young man say? We have too much money, we don't know what to do with it. Gowon was busy paying salaries abroad, when his mates were busy building infrastructure in their various countries. So how we get it back in this country is, we need to restructure. Because as presently populated, Nigeria, I see no path forward for this country.
All right. Let's have maybe 30 seconds. 30 seconds, Honorable Pascal, your concluding thoughts, 30 seconds on this particular conversation, and of course what we've spoken about before we jump to trends in 30 seconds.
Okay, for me, I think Nigeria as a state must realize itself and not allow some few persons to just manipulate us and put us in more mess than where we are at the moment. And so I believe also that we can be able to revive ourselves if we are willing. And I subscribe to the school of thought that we urgently need to restructure the country. That's just the pathway for us to revive, to regrow, and then make better this country that we found ourselves in. Thank you.
All right, thank you so very much, Honorable. And I urge that you stay with us. Doctor, your concluding thoughts, 30 seconds as well.
Restructuring will bring competition. With competition, we will advance.
He just spoke from the economics angle of this conversation. And of course, that makes him who he is, an economist. Let's jump to a very major trending conversation, shall we? Nigeria's healthcare system is teetering to the brink after joint health sector unions, that's JOHESU, and the Assembly of Healthcare Professionals Association, APCA, declared an indefinite nationwide strike beginning today, citing the federal government's prolonged failure to implement the adjusted consolidated health salary structure. And of course, other long-standing welfare demands, with services expected to be severely disrupted across federal health institutions. The announcement comes amid a backdrop of already ongoing industrial action by resident doctors. Meanwhile, the broader public health crisis deepens as inflation and rising living costs erode access to essential diabetes care across Nigeria. Well, this cannot be overemphasized. The health sector is downtooling, and this is a major situation on our hands. Let me start off with Barrister here. I would have loved if the producer is very much ready with a particular stat from the cable index, where there was a ruled out number of patients per doctor across Nigerian states in 2025. Enugu State has 299 patients to one doctor. Lagos State have 2,136 patients to one doctor. Osun State has 3,146 persons. Edo State have 3,111. I mean, the list is endless. What that means is we have limited health practitioners to the patients in Nigeria. Barrister, your position. JOHESU going on strike, of course, with the indefinite strike of the National Association of Resident Doctors.
Well, the reality is this. I wonder how they've been coping. Not just JOHESU. Workers are made to steal to survive in this country, or to cut corners. Because when you see JOHESU medical staff, they have to work in very uncomfortable environments, and you pay them peanuts. When we were giving each member of the National Assembly a vehicle worth 150 plus million, which can pay the entire salaries of maybe one hospital for 1 month. You give it to one man as his car allowance. Then you also give other allowances. You don't realize that these are also human beings who have aspirations, who have families, who are also planning for their own betterment. And you add that to other kind of benefits that the political leaders, political rulers have. You really wonder how have our workers been coping? JOHESU is long delayed, because I have also people who are medical personnel around me, and you have to supplement them. Abroad, nurses and doctors are well paid. Here in Nigeria, you pay them peanuts, and you expect them to perform miracles. And the government will come out with promises that will never get realized. Okay, even when you pay them salaries, what of the working environment? What of the lack of power supply? What of the lack of facilities? Doctors have watched patients die in their hands. Look, it's apart from even the money you pay them. When you have trained somebody and he's a professional, and he sees what he can cure, an ailment he can make well, and because of the lack of these facilities, he watches patients die. Not once, not twice. It will affect his psyche. So let us not look at these things as only money. The facilities, the environment. The other day in Lagos State, a doctor fell from a lift because she tried to enter it and she didn't know it was not working, and she fell and died. So the environment is suffocating. And those who have ruled us shamelessly, they still travel every day for the slightest medical conditions. They travel abroad and they spend millions. The other day we heard that Mr. General Buhari died in a London hospital where the daily fee was in the thousands of pounds. The amount you are paying, and not just boy that died them, Salam Abubakar is also there. And they stay there on long-term basis. And you expect Nigerian doctors and nurses and physiotherapists to work under such conditions? I honestly don't know how they are working, because what most of them do really is this. Not just in the medical field. You bring supply, they have to take and go and sell somewhere. They have against their own conscience. But the fact is they must eat. And what you are paying them cannot even take them home. So the government we have is not serious. They are not serious about the security, about our health, about our education. They are simply not serious because we didn't elect them there. They know how they do with the judiciary and the INEC to get into government. So until we have people-oriented governance, this kind of things will happen. When you talk of Johesu today, tomorrow you talk of the electricity workers, next you read the port workers, because they are all impacted. And the main source of it is we have very poor and weak kleptocrats in government who destroy Nigeria.
All right then, Doctor, let's have your position as well. I don't know if the producers are ready with that particular picture figure, the analysis, but Doctor, let's have your...
Well, for me, the problem is not just those in power, but the people. Our civil society group, our trade unions, this is an issue of legislation. Once we get it right there, our hospitals will become like the other ones in the world. There should be a legislation that once you are a public officer, you must patronize public institutions. If they can forget about salary increment and push this thing, understand? Once you are a public officer, you must patronize a public institution, public health. Your children will patronize public schools. This is the only way to get this institution being funded. Once they know that if doctors are on strike, it's going to affect them, they will make sure that doctors will not go on strike. Once they make sure that ASU is on strike, their children will come home and stay with them. They will make sure that ASU will not go on strike. So this NLC, instead of a standard increment, this civil society group, so we not go agree. There are quality activism that they should go into and change this country.
In terms of policies and laws made?
Sure, because Johansson is on strike. If the president has headache, he will jump into his presidential jet and go back to France.
All right then, Doctor, before you continue, let's have that particular, there you have it. This is patients to a doctor in Nigeria. 299 patients to a doctor in Enugu State. 2,136 patients to a doctor in Lagos State. Now, these figures are quite
I can bet you that one digit is missing in Enugu State. I can bet you one digit is missing in Enugu State. It can't be 299.
To a doctor.
It's not possible.
So how many doctors do they have?
Yeah, that means they have over 10,000 doctors in Enugu State. No, look at all the states. It's clear that a digit is missing. It must be 2,000 and something. So
the scary part of this that I want to find out is how much does both lawmakers and of course the government in power have to see Nigerians go through this pain if 299 patients is to one doctor, yet these doctors are clamoring for good welfare. And
excuse me, 299 per patient is international standard. It cannot be true.
It's not for Enugu State. It cannot.
It cannot be true.
I can tell you that. Look at the other figures.
It cannot be true.
There's no massive production of doctors in Enugu State. It's part of Nigeria.
Yes.
So if Lagos, Edo, others have that 2,000 plus, 3,000 plus, what you have to say, why will Enugu have 299? And I know Enugu State. In fact, that should be in one hospital.
Okay, so when it comes to Enugu State, I think I should still be able to comment on that. Okay, so I am not also in support of this
at all.
Let's say this is just a small private hospital or whatever. You understand?
Talk for that.
So when it comes to a government hospital, I don't think I'm in support of
the numbers are even increasing. There you have it. We have in Anambra State 5,277. If my producers are ready, can we have this rolled up a bit from Of course, on those states where you have there you have it. Anambra State is 5,000 plus. Akwa Ibom the same thing. I mean, the numbers just goes up and goodness me.
Kaduna,
And even that Kaduna is not correct. I'm sorry to say.
When you hear this Nigerian Bureau of Statistics nonsense, I mean, when you go to hospital, you see the realities.
That's the truth. So
Not all these figures, because
Barrister, you're saying on this table we're saying these figures
the facility does not even contain
the reality is far
in the
above.
reality.
It's far above this.
Yes.
It's sincerely it is far above.
They have a crossover is about 10,800. Good.
They're just
Now the only number I can agree to here is Bayelsa.
At 8,400.
Sincerely.
because they're very small.
You know, because they're a very small community, you know, from Biama to whatever, you know, so
Seven states.
you understand. So I can still talk about Bayelsa, but when it comes to other states, no, David, I beg to disagree.
Look, in Nigeria, we have learned not to look at NBS figures. But when you go to a general hospital and you have to wait from 8 o'clock till 6
to see just one doctor,
or you get an appointment and they tell you to come in 3 months' time,
That's
and
when you
appreciate
understand
it. But not these figures.
No.
Because there are many of these states that don't have up to 500 doctors.
Okay, so quickly, I'd like to Honorable Pascal.
well,
Hello, Honorable Pascal, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so of course I'll
give you real time. Let me give you real time stats.
Taraba has over 28,000. So that's a list.
Okay, Honorable Pascal. So I would want you to give us the real time, just like you're talking about. Of course,
I came from now.
Yes, in his local government.
in your local government. Okay, go ahead, please go ahead.
From now, the local government of Taraba State is inhabited by over 150 persons. We only have 2 doctors.
150,000.
There's only one that is in a general hospital, and then one is in a private hospital owned by a church.
That is the reality.
That's the reality.
Wow.
So just 2 doctors, would.
We recently had the strike issue in Taraba. Medical doctors went on strike and all whatnot. The doctors we have in the whole of the state are not up to 50.
So,
And it's a state that is close to 3 million persons.
At this point, I'll just tell you about them. Back home. Yes.
I think right now what that means is this statistics from
it's low.
You don't do anything.
it's unbelievable.
Sincerely.
It's
The
unbelievable.
Nigerian Bureau of Statistics should be scrapped.
I understand.
Because they just
don't
turn
do
out
everything.
nonsense.
In fact, in that list, it's about the Taraba you mentioned now. I think it's about 28,000. I saw it a couple of minutes ago.
It's not
28,000. And he just said now
It's
that
not correct.
it's a country of a state of goodness.
We should
David, why are you such as if you're disturbed?
It's disturbing because this is the lives of Nigerians. And
No.
if lives at this point are not of primary concern, then we have a major problem in our hands.
But guess what? Your government are saying they are doing better. They're even telling us how their reforms are wonderful. Okay, covering every sector.
I agree with you. This is not a laughing matter. Not too long ago, a minister of health said his coat was sewn by a doctor. That is, not all doctors should be in practice. I mean, that's the idiocy of those who are ruling over us. Every day, check the statistics. America is celebrating that so many Nigerian doctors are coming over to work in their countries. If you understand how much it costs to train a doctor, and that we're losing them, they even have to pay to work abroad. And the government is of no moment. You realize how sick it is.
Would you blame politicians that would rather pick professors to go and count votes or somebody that didn't go to school?
Good. I mean, it's a very good.
I think that's the best I can actually say.
I agree with you.